Call the member for Herbert.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I'm happy to second this motion. I'm glad the member the member for Cunningham brought it up, and I back the member for Cunningham as being very passionate in relation to apprentices and vocational education training. By and large, apprentices are employed by small businesses, and the area in which I would like to concentrate on is the area of construction and building in my city. The tender process done by governments has a lot to answer for in this space. We see Tier 1 tenderers making these, we see governments of all shapes and sizes making these tenders bigger and bigger. Tier 1 tenderers no longer employ people, no longer employ tradespeople. There is a provision in there for them to take for training, but they will do anything which resembles training. They don't do apprenticeships anymore. They don't like doing apprenticeships. What we should be doing in this space is making sure that these things do turn over to becoming, making sure that their subcontractors are actually employing tenders, actually employing apprentices. Which leads me to another area which I'll cover very shortly. The problem we have with the money is still being spent in training, but it's being done in workplace health and safety training, it's been done in any form of training that can be done in-house by the small group of people that are actually there. It doesn't transform into what we used to see, where a building site would go up or something would be built and you'd have your Tier 1 contractor or your lead contractor with all your subcontractors there would have a number of contractors, a number of apprentices there. What I would really like to see is the pressure being put on the Tier 1 contractors to employ subcontractors who do employ apprentices. Because we have group training organisations in towns like Torgas who have parents come to them and say, my son or daughter will work for nothing. My son or daughter will work for nothing. And it is not about wages. It is not about junior wages or mature apprenticeship wages. It's about getting the opportunity. Because more and more we are seeing jobs going, big government jobs that we have, where the money used to wash through our economy 2 and 3 and 4 times. Now we're seeing it wash through once. Now, there are 2 jobs in Townsville at the moment which are up for grabs, one at the university and one at the RAF base, and we are seeing Tier 1 contractors win those, as you would always expect, which I still see as being basically wrong because the money's not staying, the profit doesn't stay in our community, because government's infrastructure is not just about providing a building or providing a road, it's about facilitating trade and making sure our communities grow. And what we're seeing at the moment is we're getting the nice piece of infrastructure, but the profit is exiting the stage, and we're not seeing the benefit of that. And too often we're seeing these Tier 1 contractors sign up subcontractors who have EBA agreements with the CFMEU. And they are not employing locals who have apprentices. But can I tell you, I'm talking about the in Townsville at the moment, and I'm talking about recent history, where we are seeing groups come up, fly in, fly out contractors where the locals cannot compete and are not getting a job. And we are seeing the opportunity for apprentices in my city completely disappear. So there's 2 jobs in Townsville at the moment, and we're seeing local guys who have up to a dozen apprentices in line for these jobs. They know what the job costs, they know where the profit margins are, and they're being told that they're going to miss out. So that's, whether it comes to plumbers, builders, concreters, metal workers, that sort of stuff, that's what it goes to. So when you have an organisation like Torgas or something like that wants to place these apprentices, they can't have these apprentices shifting all around the country from job to job. They must go to these things here, and I think it is the onus upon all governments, because if we find that we are spending this money, and we're finding that we're not getting apprenticeships, and we're not getting the next generation of tradespeople coming through, then we as a government and we as a parliament have failed. And I think that's the real shame here, because we are seeing, there's an article in the Australian today about house prices going up because you can't get a builder, because we can't get these kids onto jobs, because all the way through. Now I know that what the part I'm looking at is a very thin slice. It's a very thin slice of the entire vocational education training market. And there are things that we're trying to do here in this space. And I think Simon Birmingham is working very hard in this space of trying to get the right result here. But we as a government, as a parliament, must look towards our local councils and get back to where the things used to be done more and more locally. And I'm only speaking purely for regional economies here, because that is the one in which I'm so intimately involved. Because I see an industry and a series of industries in my city under real pressure at the moment, and I think it's something that we're going to be very, very sad about in the very near future. I back the member who brought this, and I think it's a very timely item. Thank you, and thank the House.
I thank the member for Herbert.